Hello everyone, Ceri Griffiths here, or as most of you know me, Ceri the Crafter. So it's that time of year again. I mean, every year I do an updated tour of my creative space, and this year I thought, it's worth doing it again because there's always someone seeing it for the first time, and my creative space I view as very much a living thing. I find that stuff gets moved around. I move furniture, I move storage areas, I move supplies. I do lots of different creative activities, and I'm not going to be walking around the room if I'm doing gel printing for a month. Then I'm going to be moving all the gel printing close to me. If I'm doing journals for a week, I'll move the gel printing stuff, the journal making stuff closer to me. And I think that's why it's such a living space to me. It's a space where things sort of come together and mould themselves around my needs. Now, there's a few things I thought I wanted to initiate this year. Now, I've always referred to this as my craft cave, and that's going to change. I think that the word craft doesn't really cover what I do in this room. And cave, I thought, it's a bit of a dark and dingy name for my creative space. So I've decided now just to call it the studio. Because to be honest with you, it's where I do my photography, my filming, run all my business from here at my desk. I do all my editing, I do all my creating, all my artwork. Everything is in here. Also, this is my haven. This room is where I sometimes have to battle anxiety if I feel like I'm heading towards a bout of depression or something. Usually coming to this room and just pottering, just sorting stuff out usually helps me turn the corner on that, or at least curb it a bit. So I think from now on I'm just going to refer to this as studio. Now, I'm going to do the tour as I normally do. Possibly not going to open every box and drawer because I don't want this to be like a 2-hour video. Anyone who gets motion sickness, I'm going to be hand holding this iPad. So please forgive me. If there are any longer periods where I'm walking between things, I'm likely to edit those out and maybe put a fade to fade transition in, just so that you don't have to endure that moving around. Couple of other things too. Now, I know I am exceedingly lucky to have a dedicated space. And that didn't happen until I was 60 years old. So that's a heck of a long time to wait to get to a dedicated space. Without this space, I wouldn't be who I am. I so appreciate that. Also, having this space probably mentally saved me when the pandemic came, because the pandemic threw me into a tailspin that I don't ever want to be in again. And this space truly, truly helped me. Now, I know in the comments I'm going to get, Ceri, it's so clean and neat and tidy. That's the way my brain is. That is absolutely, honest to goodness, how my brain is. One of the side effects of being overwhelmed and my anxiety and stuff like that is if I'm in clutter, I shut down. Now, I know some of you thrive in having lots of stuff around you and almost being in avalanches of craft and art. I can't do that. I literally shut down. And I think there's a video somewhere of my top 10 tips for a mindful place to be creative in. Is there a fly in here again? There's a fly in my last video. Where's this fly come from? He needs to pay rent. He needs to pay rent if he's staying in here. So being overwhelmed by too many things, my brain just shuts down. And if this place isn't working and it's messy and it's cluttered, I tend to shut the door and I can't come in here. And I don't ever want that to happen. So true to my word on those top 10 points, at the end of every day, I spend at least 5 minutes just tidying away. If I put stuff back where it came from, the next time I reach it, it's going to be there. Works for me personally. Whatever works for you, works for you. Yes, I have a very clean and tidy space. It usually looks like this, with the exception of 2 surfaces where if I'm doing projects, there's usually project baskets on them or stuff like that, or there's videos coming up, or like if I'm doing a collaboration with somebody, there's 2 surfaces that I allow to gather clutter, because I know that when the video's done, that clutter's going to be gone. So anyway, that's just that. Did I clean up before I show you around? Hell yeah, I'm a little proud. I dusted, I wiped down surfaces. I don't think I did much more. I did take a couple of things out, like my trash can is broken and I need to go and buy one this afternoon. And I thought, you don't really need to see in a trash can full of all bits of garbage, so I've taken that out of the room. What else have I taken out? I've got 1 or 2 projects that you can't see at the moment. And also I've got, let's see. If I talk of them as individual, I've got approximately 30 new foam stamps coming out over the next couple of months as I designed for PM Artist Studio. I can't let you see those, but watch this space. I think very shortly we're going to be launching the first batch of them, and they're going to be in sets. I mean, 30 sounds a lot, but I think for a start there's 5 batches. No, there's 4 batches of 4. I think there's a batch of 3, and then there's a batch of 9, something like that. Anyway, my brain doesn't do math. Anyway, so I think let's get Ceri to shut up. And as I said, I'm going to take you around my studio. I do apologise for any movement. I will do the utmost to make sure it's not jarring. I will open anything that I can open with one hand or move with one hand. There are a few drawers that have just got like probably coffee filters in or something like that. If I can remember what's in the drawer before I open it, I won't open it. I think that's about it really. So I'm going to say goodbye and let's get on with this. So see you when I flip this camera around, get off this stool, and hopefully I'll share something that you enjoy. See you in a bit, guys. Bye. So here we go. What's the better place to start than my desk? Okay, this is where I video everything. That's the bracket I use, which is why sometimes things wobble because it's attached to a bookcase. My desk setup is pretty simple. I mean, I have obviously brushes, pens, stuff like rulers, everything to my left hand because I'm right-handed. Well, actually I'm ambidextrous, but left-handed. Right-handed is my dominant hand. A timer because I try to always put that on so I know roughly. I set it for about an hour and then it goes off and I know I'm done. Clock because I have to know the time. Just stuff that I use. Damp cloth, not dirty, just stained. My cactus, I love my cactus. Oh, it's in flower too. And over here is just things like glues and pens and stuff like that. I'll probably do the underneath the desk afterwards. So let's go on to something reasonably more interesting. You've heard me say before that I use post-it notes all the time. This is it. I mean, I write a post-it, stick it on there, and then it's in my eyesight. So I have several of these cupboards. All of the furniture, most of the furniture I should say, is from IKEA. That tall foam head, yeah, that was a mistake purchase. It was meant to be for a head the size of Bob. You'll meet Bob later on. But I bought the wrong one, but it will become a project in the future. It's not going to go to waste. That craft caddy that I made up there is full of paints that have been ordered but don't need to be used at the moment. Right, we'll do some quick shelf by shelf stuff. All of this, remember, is within reach. So things like erasers and staples, brushes and spritzers, buttons. I think that's full of button clusters. That's an old ephemera folio which I don't use anymore. Artist trading cards, sort of started, semi-started, finished. Arty postcards on the go, that's where they live. Now, contrary to belief, I do not have a huge amount of paint. That's my paint, and that down there is the rest of the paint. But I use that for my planner stroke art journaling, so I don't have a huge amount of paint, and I do that on purpose. As you can see, these are shoe boxes, which I've covered in my gel prints. And what I do is I only allow myself to buy more paint when there's space within those 3 items. That works for me. That's the way my brain functions. Underneath here are just other supplies, really. I want to say at the back there's like, in there, there's tabs for books, clamps and clips. You know me, I use those. These are our Diane Reevely fluid paints. I use those a lot in my art journaling. There are some inks back there, but I don't use them often. You've seen my colour wheel, you've seen my swatch book, just some general supplies. Let's see if I get down on my knees without breaking myself. The two on the left, these containers are full of stamps, clear stamps and rubber stamps, and on the right is embossing folders. What is in this drawer? I think it's my cinch. Yeah, this is all the stuff for doing cinch books or zutters. And I want to say underneath here, this is just stuff like an electronic turntable. It's also where my tripods are. I also keep, and this is stuffed in the gap here, I want to say that's a scoreboard, a cutting board, and the board that I use to actually do all my gel printing on. Let's see if I can stand up without shaking you. Now, probably two most useful bits of kit is I've got a foldable card table and a foldable 6-foot table. I love having those in my craft room in my studio, because what I do is if I'm working on a bigger project, I need more surfaces, I'll pull those out, but I try not to leave them out permanently. Plants, I love plants. I'd love to have more plants in here, but there's just not enough space. Right, that wooden box is full of like old family memorabilia, postcards, photographs, just ancient stuff that one day may become a digital download if I can get my brain right getting it sorted out. Little CD player. I like to have not always music, but maybe sound effects, like thunderstorms or whale song or stuff going on in the background. Because to me, I want to have some noise, but it doesn't necessarily have to be singing or music that I then get distracted by. This piece, the tall plastic drawer set, I bought this many years ago and I love it. I love it because, okay, this is my pattern scraps. I love it because basically I can take the whole thing out and move it to wherever I'm working, whether it's upstairs, downstairs, wherever. So pattern scraps, plain backings, card scraps, and all the way down. You can read what's in each of these as we go down. Very cute. I love this. What's in this one? I don't know what this one's got a label on. Oh, there you go, die cuts. So I love that. I mean, part of me doesn't like the fact that it's plastic. I wish it was a bit more vintagey or wooden or metal or something, but you know what? That works for me. This basically is my whole business, this desk. This is where everything gets edited, uploaded, digitals get made. All of my meetings are held here. It's just, this is the heart of my business. It's all done on this wooden desk. And I picked this up secondhand. It had been made specifically for someone for a nook in their house. And so it's a unique little size, flip down desk. I love it. Past planner inserts. That's the blue folio I made the other day. Concertina book, Zutter books, just little books I make, little trial. Actually, I think that was a video. Actually, so I'm looking at things, not looking through the camera. Hopefully, I'm not missing what I'm showing you. This pot is basically full of brush pens. Some have got liquid ink in, some have got water. Depends on what I'm using. You've seen my planner. You've seen my planner before. I use that so often. This is something I really love. This jar is full of lavender from my garden, and if I open the lid and I stir it around a bit, I get this wonderful smell in here. And also, this is a scented candle. I'll say it's a Yankee candle, and I always have candles going because they calm me. A coffee with Ceri station, or if anyone's coming over for a drink or a get together, this is where I make my coffee. So another one of the bookcases. I like bookcases. I prefer bookcases than drawers, because drawers and cupboards you can hide stuff in. Bookcases, it's on view. If it's hidden in a drawer or cupboard, I don't see it, I don't remember it. Okay, on the very top is my stash of Carnival water resistant tissue paper. I cut them all into half the sheets when they arrive, so that the size I need. Okay, top shelf is book pages that are already prepped, envelopes, pockets and sacks. That's one of my glue books. These are all pages and kits and just stuff I use. That's backgrounds, I believe that's my glue book there. Next shelf, ephemera, sort of before it's made. These are more like bases. Playing cards, cards for prompts, stuff I pick up. Like, I mean, that I picked up in a kid's pack, and I got like 50 of them, and I'll just gesso over them and use them as journal cards. I've used these. These are things if I'm trying to select sections of a bigger project to cut out, I'll use those frames. One is the size of my postcard, one is the size of my ATC. This is more of ephemera ready to go. So this is pretty much tags. This is bits of everything in here. This is lots of bits of everything in there. These are all journal signature pages, covers. There's a couple of journals at the back that have been made but not necessarily finished. Going down here, what's in this one? Reference books, notebooks, stuff. There's inspirational books. There's a couple of journals in there. My idea books are in there. This is sort of my brain dump. This is why I drop everything in. This came as part of a Happy Meal mail. And I'm slowly using stuff out of that when it's appropriate. Just basically book stuff in there. What's in this one? Oh, this is the coffee drawer. Coffee and coloured pencils, I believe, in that. Oh, right. I don't have a Pringle fetish. That's just stuff. So if I want a Pringle tube for making maybe a castle or good grief, a rocket or a tower or something, you'll see what I mean later on. So that's my collapsible chair. That's the one I use for working in my office, at my desk. I didn't want a chair that stayed in the middle of the room because I would fall over it, I can guarantee. My old portable typewriter, which I need to actually get back to using. And the next cupboard, right, all the way up to the top. So there's the big shot. I love using my big shot. I've turned the lights on some of my fairy houses, just so you can have a little look with lights on. I thought that'd be cute. That's one I made. This is another one. There you go. So the central turret of this, I think I call this Toadstool Mansion. That was a Pringle tube in there. Bit of my artwork, a bit of a shadow box I made. A shoe former, that came with the same Happy Mail. These bottles, I love these. So if I'm in here at night, I turn these on and not necessarily have a real light on, to be honest. I like the fact that it's subtle lighting. Let's see what's down here. Oh, this is my little Witch in the Attic project that I did. It's a little three-dimensional, just made out of two little boxes. This is my journal collection, or the journal collection that's up here. This is where journals go when pretty much they're finished. There's a few in there that maybe this one, which I made about a month ago, I've started using that. This is my current one, which really needs more work done in it. Some of these are gifts. Like I think this is from Gail Augustinelli. Oh, was this from Kirsten or Kristen? I can't remember, but they've all been in flip throughs. Right down here. That little teacup and teapot set was from a friend of mine, Bev. Those roses, I made those roses when I was the ambassador for Flower Pro, so they're all made out of clay. These, I loved these. I was recently at the Rachel and Bella Crafts, retreat, and there was a goodie table where things on the table you could just take. Well, there was a whole load of these pins, and I just thought, I want a few of those. They're lovely. So I did, and they were left. Nobody else wanted them, so I took them. My flower press, that was that little case I picked up in one of the hauls I did, the charity shop hauls. That's my die storage. Okay, this is pretty much vintage books for pages and stuff like that. That's another one of my bottle lamps. As you can see, I love those bottle lamps. I hope I'm actually in shot for all of this. I do apologise if I switch around a bit. Right, what's in these drawers? Oh, this is just basically the music drawer and spare stuff. Right, let's have a little look down here. What's in this one? Oh, this is my cross-stitch drawer. The old drawer that used to be used a lot. I don't tend to do a lot of cross-stitch anymore. I just don't seem to have time. I've got plenty. Oh, actually, there's one. Okay, this is the first ever cross stitch I ever did, before I knew about splitting threads and ways to do it. So that's there. That's a dog in the background. This, okay, I did this years ago and I love this, and it's beadwork. I've never managed to frame it. I've never done anything with it, but I love looking at it. It's probably one of those things that it might eventually go into a black velvet frame or something, or it might well become the cover of a journal. Who knows what's going to happen to that? So let's pop all of this back in there. This bag, this one here, is full of all my finished cross-stitch projects, which, to be honest with you, I need to frame because some of them are absolutely stunning. Let's see if I can step up again without making you sick. This is where I keep canvases, canvas boards ready to be turned into artwork, or canvases I bought at charity shops to be recycled. Washi tape collection. Love my washi tape. I use it a lot. I'm sure you've seen me use it a lot. So there it is. And then up over the top, we're going to come in and... Sorry guys, had to go and see what the dog was barking at. So this setup here is pretty much how I try to control what projects I'm working on. Each basket represents a new project or a project that's ongoing. Do I stick to it? Not as well as I wish I did, to be honest with you. So let's have a quick look what is in each of these. Okay, this is for napkins for a collage project that's going on. This is where I dump all packaging and stuff, which will get turned into ephemera eventually. Oh, fussy cutting, the dreaded fussy cutting. What's in this one? Oh, some postcards that need more work before they go into the postcard folder. Not going to talk about that one. This, okay, this, let's see if I can move you slowly. Focus on the box, not on where we're going. There you go. I got this on eBay the other day, and I can see why it was in an auction. The box is a bit destroyed, and it cost me £5, free postage and packaging, and it's 100 Pantone postcards. And I thought, you know, there's something in this. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I don't know what I'm going to use them for. However, I couldn't pass that up. Right, let's go back again over to here. Sorry, motion sickness problem. What is in here? Oh, something on the floor. Right, that's napkin stuff I'm using for ephemera. Let's pick that up in a minute. Piece of fabric, because when I was at the Rachel Ballard retreat, I actually purchased 2 Bohemian digital kits that all been printed out, and it's my intention to do a Bohemian journal at the end of this. Right, probably going to do a fade now because I need to pop down and pick up what I dropped on the floor. Right, what I dropped off the shelf was some ribbon cramps that I saw Gail using the other day, and I'd never heard of them, so I'm going to use those to make lace and like jewelled cramped pieces that I can use in the Bohemian journal. This is where paper and blank labels go to get stamped. This whole basket is all about my doodling and my travel doodle book and stuff like that. Under here, what's this? This is my large collage book. This is my sewing cupboard. I don't go into this half as much as I should, but sewing, I do lots of stuff with sewing. I should do more. Like the bottom of the shelf is just scraps or recycled fabrics. That's pretty much quilt making on that shelf. This one is fabrics I use for quilt covers. I use for journal covers. Actually, talking about that is one of my quilt toppers. For those of you who wanted to say, do I quilt? Yes, I do quilt. The trouble is, I make the quilt topper like this is a completely finished quilt top here, and I never do anything more with them. Once I've made the quilt top, I tend to get really bored, and then I don't go on and finish the borders and the backing and all the rest of it. Over in that corner, are jelly rolls, so I use those down spines of books a lot. So that's the sewing cupboard, which needs some attention. Piece of artwork I did for Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artists group. It was a monthly challenge, and it was called I Inspire, so I literally took I Inspire. There you go. Right, moving around. Okay, this is, I know people are going, oh my God, how organised are you? I've got a video tracker, so I know how many videos I produced each and every month, purely because I want to stay on target. Okay, on the top of here are all of these A2 cutting mats that you see me use. I use them to actually film up against, because there's no reflection from them, which is brilliant, because then I don't have to deal with reflections. Okay, on the left here are my acrylic boards to put my gel prints on. This box here, you saw this in a charity haul. I haven't found anything to use it for, and I haven't found a lighthouse which I was going to put in the first place. Okay, these boxes are where I keep gel print stuff. So keepers means they're finished A4 backgrounds, which I'm hoarding. Maybe one day I'll be able to do a 12 by 12 pack. And I'm thinking I want to use those for that. You've seen my red, yellow, green process, or red, amber, green. Basically, green means the print is ready to use. Amber means it needs a little bit more. Red means it's only really a background. All the rest of these are just paper storage, 12 by 12 storage, and anything like that. Right, next shelf. This with the eye on it, if I can open it one-handed, is pretty much, who are you? Is that Gwyneth Paltrow? I don't know. Basically, it's magazine images of faces, both male and female, because I'm trying to make my art better by learning. So I tend to copy or draw from phrases in magazines to actually help me understand proportion, design, just stuff. So it's an aid. The box underneath it is actually full of markers. These are all, what are all of these? These are all my gel plates. All gel plates there, all in storage, ready to go. Let's move you down a bit. Right. Good old Edith Holden on the end. These are my arty stickers. These are the plain stickers. These are Edith Holden pages. I think there's another one of those books in there as well. This is Flower Fairies. It's where I've been fussy cutting the flowers out of and the fairies out of that book. These are the artist trading cards and the arty postcards that are not going to be shared. They're the ones that I've kept. These three folders are stencils. So this one here is stencils and masks by other designers. This one here is any PM Artist Studio stencils and masks not designed by me. And this one here is all of my own designs for PM Artist Studio. And all of my bigger stencil storage is in these folders here with the fronts on. Moving on down. So this is basically ink pads. That's it. That's all I've got. I don't need a huge amount. I'd love to, but that's just beyond budget. Bits of backing stuff for Vupo. Some old metal stencils I basically haven't sorted out yet. This little box has got stamps in that I use on a daily basis for things like my planner. It's also where it's got the Made by Ceri stamp and stuff like that. This pot is basically full of little foam squares when I'm doing foam painting. Small cutting board. In here is just equipment. Not a huge amount, just bits of equipment that I find necessary. And what's this? Oh, it's the drawer of crows again. There you go, drawer of crows. There's 3 crows in there ready for Halloween. Underneath there is a vintage tin full of vintage cottons and buttons. So there's that. Let's move you up again. Right, I did say there were 2 work surfaces here. This is one of them, and that's the other one of them that I allow myself to put clutter on or stuff while I'm working. So this area looks like this. These mesh baskets are from IKEA, and there's a video on those decorated boxes, and that's Bob. I referred to Bob earlier on when I said I ordered the wrong size. That's Bob, and he's probably going to have a mate one day. That's Idris, my dragon. I love dragons. That was a Pringle tube at one point. This influenced piece of art, I love this, but I'm slightly disappointed. When I made this, it was a lot more yellow, but over time it seems to have lost its yellowness. So not overly happy at that, but I still love the piece. This is potentially one of the first journals I ever made, and I believe it was a Tracy Fox challenge to make a miniature journal, and I can't open it because I've got one hand, but it's a complete little mini journal. This was a skull I got that was black, and I wanted a skull as a reference point for drawing and modelling stuff, so I painted it up from black to that, and I'm quite happy how that turned out actually. My art journals are here, well, last couple of art journals here. This is my doodle book. You will have seen this in one of my videos when I first started. I've done a lot of work on the cover because I got a bit carried away. Inside the doodling I was supposed to be doing, I haven't completed the first one yet, so shame on me, but I'm doing it in my own time. Now, each of these drawers, which I'm not going to open, are full of things like beads and jewellery pieces and paper clips and corners and craft punches and all of the things I need for day to day. This is a little project that I do. Basically, I make these little cards. If I'm trying out new ideas or new techniques, I'll try and make one of these, and then I keep it on this ring, and then it's basically there for me to refer to, and I like them, they're pretty. Let's have a little look what's next. Not sure I want to go through all of these drawers. If you want me to go through these drawers, maybe mention it in the comments and I'll do a little video in the future. But basically, it's just supplies, guys. It's absolutely, both sets of these are just supplies. This bucket in the corner is full of wallpaper samples, paper for wrapping, just brown paper. It's just, there's lots and lots of supplies in there that I use for backgrounds, and this is my supply of backgrounds. You've seen these in a recent video where I showed them all. What else is down there? Oh, it's stuff stuffed in the corner. Let's see, there's another piece of my art. That mask with the orchids on it, I made that for a TV show I was doing where I was demonstrating how to make flowers. Those flowers are actually made out of air-dried clay. That's a couple of journals. The one on the left is actually brand new and I've not even used it. The one on the right, I'll share with you at some point in the future. It's sort of a private project I'm working on. Okay, I've started over the last year storing my ephemera in these boxes. Now, these boxes originally, I believe, are meant for peel-offs. You know, those metallic peel-offs that are this shape. They're peel-off sticky things used for card making and crafting and journaling and stuff like that. So that's what that's for. And I find it easier because I can just pull out the relevant ones, and because they're not deep or dark, I can actually move stuff around and see them. Right, what's down here? That would be, I store my guillotine because I use it nearly all the time. Right, behind this at the back, that's where the sewing machine lives. Pretty much because it's a large, bulky item and I don't really want to have it out all the time. Now, these under this desk, and I made this desk, so it's not one you can buy. It goes back a long way, so things like this is just supplies I use on a regular basis, and at the back are supplies I don't use quite regularly. Same here, it's paints and gessos and stuff. Down here, that's my butterfly supplies. The box underneath is full of vintage finds that one day may become a digital. Again, this is all glues and solutions and sprays that I use. In here is like matte mediums, gessos as well. And the bottom is basically printer paper, presentation paper, dried flowers and dried leaves, if I can get up again. So I think that's pretty much giving you an idea. Now what I'm going to do, hold your breath, is I'm going to try and pan around the whole room so you get an idea. This is where you may get a bit motion sickness. I will judge whether I'm going to leave this in when it comes to editing stage. So basically, this is my whole space. Right, so let's pop back to the bald guy and say goodbye. So here I'm back again. So hopefully that was enjoyable. I didn't go through all the baskets under the counters because that's a bit awkward one-handedly, and also that would make the video at least half an hour longer, and I want to try and keep this to a manageable length of a video. If you do need me to go through those baskets, and to be honest, there's nothing special in them, guys. They are just supplies, and probably one embarrassing drawer with so many rolls of tape in that I should really keep it hidden. But that's just me. I've got to think about sticky tape, double-sided tape, washi tape, and I've got to think about tape. And I use it all the time, so that's fine. It's a product I do use, I don't hoard. So that's basically my creative space, my mindful space. I love it here. This enables me to only have to hold down a part-time job, which then frees me up for half of the week to be able to be creative. It would be a dream come true if I could do this full-time and it generated an income for me enough to match my bills or my outgoings. I can't imagine that ever happening, but one can dream. I'm 63 years old and I could effectively retire at, I think, 65 or 66, I'm confused now. They keep moving. As soon as I get close to the pensionable age, they move it away from me again. But I do have a private pension that came out 2 years ago, but I haven't cashed it in yet. So you never know. One day I may win the lotto. Bit difficult. I don't play the lotto, but you never know. I may win the lotto or come up big on the premium bonds or something. So yes, big thank you, guys, because you are the people who have made this happen. All of this wouldn't be here without you guys. I know YouTube reckons that subscriber counts are vanity. I totally disagree. Absolutely, YouTube, you are wrong. I wouldn't be here without my subscribers, and it re-establishes my confidence and belief in myself as a creative person to click onto my YouTube channel and see that, well, I think currently there's 67,000 subscribers. In my mind, those 67,000 people believe in me. They believe in what I create. And that really enhances my confidence, and it allows me to sometimes get out of the darker days and go, you know what? I'm not obligated to create for these people. I want to create for these people. I want to share skills. I love to share techniques. I love to share what I'm doing. And with your kind comments and support, I've even begun to share things that maybe I've gone, messed that one up. That shouldn't have really been seen by the public. But I have learned through your support and your comments that actually, if I do something wrong or I mess up, it's much more of a learning curve than actually seeing someone do it right all of the time. So I do tend to leave my real mistakes in. The only time I edit a video is if there's bits that are just really repetitious, or they're boring, or the lighting's not good, or there's been a noise in the background, or I've knocked over a cup of coffee. Knocked over a couple of cups of coffee in my life. So basically what you see in my videos is what you get. I mean, it is me doing it in as real time as I can possibly do it, with sharing as much knowledge, technique, background information as I possibly can. Now, I'm on quite a high schedule of churning out 3 videos a week. It's manageable and I intend keeping that up. Those of you who have asked, can I do a video a day? No, I cannot do a video a day. Editing and prep work alone would not allow me to do that. And I think if I was doing 7 videos a week, my love for this would very quickly be quenched. And 3 a week is enough. It gives me time to do a bit of research into what I'm going to do. If I'm trying to do a technique for the first time in front of you for the first time, I can watch a few other people do it. It gives me time to actually research maybe background on some of the products I'm going to use, because I don't know everything. I'm not a trained artist. I was never a trained teacher. I don't know about product knowledge unless I've used the product. And then what I'll do is I'll research it, or I will give you my spin on it. So anyway, what I'm trying to say, guys, is thank you. Without you, I wouldn't be me. And without me, we wouldn't have the fun times we're having on my channel, I suppose. Anyway, it's really great. Thank you very much. Hope you like the space. I'll do this once a year as I've done for the last couple of years. Let's see what else happens to this space. Now, there's one thing I'm probably going to be changed by next year is I have steered away from putting art or my art pieces on the walls of this room. And that was because when the builders redid the walls here, they said the background behind the plaster wasn't great enough to be hammering nails in and stuff like that. But there are products now I can probably hang like Velcro pads and sticky pads and that, which won't pull anything off the walls or damage them. But I do think it's coming time that I like seeing my art on the walls. If nothing else, it reminds me I can do it. And each piece of art has a memory, like behind me, that piece there. The I Inspired that I made for Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artist group on Facebook. I struggled. I didn't know how to represent that theme, and then one day I was playing around and I went, I can do this, and I ended up doing that, and I was very happy about that. And I've got it on the back of my door, so every day that I leave this craft cave, I've done it again, haven't I? Every time I leave this studio, that's what I see when I walk out the door. It endorses my belief in me. It just does, and I love that. It's just, I don't know, I'm rambling now, guys. I'm rambling. Thank you is what I'm trying to say, and thank you to everyone who believes in me. Thank you for those who buy my mask and stencil and foam stamp designs. Thank you for those who have bought my cake decorating molds in the past and bought the books that I've been published in the past. Thank you, guys. Without you, I'm not me. So until next time, I will probably see you in about 2 days' time. Not really sure what I'm doing next. I have to consult that mind dump book I've got over there to see what project I want to do next. So until next time, bye guys. Thank you.